The following program includes mature subject matter and language intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Heavy metal music has been around since the 1970s. Whether you love it or hate it, you know it's loud, raucous, and wildly popular. But take a closer look and you'll probably notice most of those musicians and their fans are white and male. That's why we found the two people you're about to meet so compelling. They're women, black women, who have crossed over into that macho world. And as Mark Arcosol explains, their voices are being heard loud and clear.
Please welcome to the stage, the one and only Judas Priestess.
I've always been attracted to the loudest, fastest, hardest thing. Always. Loud, intense, crazy, chaotic. That excites me.
I am your singer, Melissa!
Her name is Melissa Vox, and she's loved heavy metal since she was 7 years old.
Thank you!
I remember riding with my mom down the highway and pulling up to a light. This guy was like blasting heavy metal, and he was air drumming and was just like going crazy. And I was just looking at him, and I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
In this world, she's, to put it mildly, unusual. The image of metal is dark, spikes, skulls, leather, and overwhelmingly white.
People have said, oh, that music is not for you. This, like, naturally blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl from the Jersey Shore area, like, got pissed off at me because I was criticizing her guitar playing, which sucked. And she said to someone, like, I'm blacker than she is.
She's heard it from industry execs for years. She's too black for metal.
Come on! Lift up the Let's see it!
Oh, you know, well, that's cool that you do rock and roll, but if you're gonna do rock and roll, you need to look more white. Because if it's too wild, if it's too ethnic, people will turn away. Instead of being taken as a great singer, I'm being taken as a black singer. I could have sold out a long time ago. And one of my favorite things to tell people, and that I always know way down in my soul, is that I didn't suck anyone's to get to where I am, and I've always stayed true to what I needed to do. You know, not many people can say that.
Metal actually has roots in Southern blues, but there are precious few role models for black women, and they don't appear on MTV. You can find a few if you search online, like Skin from Skunk Anansie, but they're the exception.
I wish I had a blueprint to follow. There wasn't any. My mom was just like, please don't be into that. She was like, that's like redneck music, stop listening to it. And I'm like, I love it. Like, it's so exciting to me, sorry.
Being a black woman in metal can be lonely. You rarely see one on stage or in the crowd. But tonight, Melissa has a kindred spirit.
My name is Lena Dawes. I'm an author, freelance journalist, and photographer.
Lena Dawes has written about heavy metal for 20 years. She felt the same isolation. So she wrote a book about it.
What Are You Doing Here is a title that has always been with me from when I first started working on the book. Because obviously it's the question that, you know, everyone gets asked the most is, what are we doing here? Do I resent it? Yes. Am I angry? To this day, I'm very angry.
I was so thrilled to meet Lena because I was like, wow, there is another one like me. And that feels good because there's camaraderie there. We give each other this knowing look.
I always wished that I could find other Black women who are into the same scene. It's not fun, people staring at you all the time, like why are you here? I went to cover Metallica at ACC in 2009, and that was just totally insane. I had guys making gorilla noises at me when I walked by. I had a couple of people call me the N-word.
Has anybody come up to you and straight up told you that this music is not for Black people?
Oh, yeah, several times.
You laugh about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But, I mean, I've gotten, like, don't you people have your own music?
Lena got into heavy metal as a girl growing up in rural Kingston, Ontario, where she was adopted by a white family in 1970.
You are the only Black person or one of a few Black people. You always feel like an outsider, so I always felt like I didn't really belong there.
Strangely enough, she found an outlet in music that her white neighbors were listening to.
I fell in love with Kiss, thought they were really crazy looking, but very hyper-masculine and very powerful. And I was attracted to that power in their music because I didn't feel very powerful when I was a kid. I've been quite honest and said if it wasn't for metal, I would have killed myself. Because you need that outlet for your anger.
Writing the book allowed Lena to connect with musicians and fans who understood what she'd been through, but the truth in those pages was painful for her parents.
One of the things that I found was challenging in terms of writing about the book was writing about my family, writing about the adoption. In terms of being honest and saying, you know, my childhood sucked. You have to pay the price for being that honest in your book.
When the book came out, those intensely personal revelations caused a rift in Lena's family. It's been almost a year since she's been home.
I grew up my whole life in areas like this, and I remember back then just thinking, I can't wait to get out of here. Hello? Huey! Come here, sweetheart. This is my cat, Huey. Yeah. So this was my bedroom growing up. For me, the music was extremely important in terms of just being able to wake up every day because it was tough and I didn't feel like I had anyone to talk to.
Do you remember this or?
Yeah, some of them.
The reunion, when it comes, is somewhat awkward.
I gave you a copy of that?
I guess you must have.
Jeez.
But then, an unexpected and emotional moment.
Here's your writings. Some of them.
This is all like my freelance and then some of my book. I didn't know you kept all, like, printed off all of these. You really feel less alone, that you're not a weirdo like you're, told you were for so many years. I love the scene. I love the people I've met in the scene. It's me. I could never imagine being this passionate about any other music culture ever.
I think there's a serious hang-up about if you're listening to rock and roll, then you're less Black or something stupid, which is interesting because it's like, I know a lot of white folk that love hip-hop, but they're not considered less white. This music is more fulfilling than anything I've ever encountered in my human existence. I found it, I discovered it, I've internalized it, and I can't live without it now, so that's it. That's it. End of story.
And that is our broadcast for tonight. I'm Carolyn Jarvis. From all of us here at 16 by 9, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.